Hey there, welcome to my Slayer equipment and information video. In this video, I'm showing how I like to train Slayer. I will be covering a couple of pointers you may or may not know, but this is not necessarily an in-depth Slayer guide. The intent of this video is to be used alongside other simple task videos that I will be releasing as well, or to just use however you like. Feel free to change up anything and make it your own. By no means are my setups the best option for you, but I will say when I play Runescape, I like to relax and chill. And you can do this easily while training Slayer. So all of my Slayer vids are going to be based off, AFKing and chilling. All right, without further ado, here we go. I'm in my house because your house setup is actually quite important for training Slayer and having to be as easy as possible to just do task after task. So over here, I have an armor repair stand. You need 55 construction for this, and I highly recommend it. In fact, if you don't think you want to get 55 construction, then the rest of this video might not be super helpful to you because I use Guthans, and if you are repairing your Barrow's armor using Bob and Lumbridge, you are getting scammed. So how the armor stand works is you have coins and your equipment in your inventory. Select one of the pieces and then click Repair All. And there you go. The price depends on your smithing level, so the higher your smithing level, the cheaper it is to repair your armor. But even if your smithing isn't super high, it still is so much cheaper than going to Bob the Scammer.
I wanted was to repair my full RM set. And so I took it to Bob and Lumbridge, and he took my coins. But he didn't even repair my armor. He just shut the door on me.
I was doing the Death to the Dorgenshun quest, and my goblin friend Zanuck and I went to Bob's Brilliant Axes in southern Lumbridge. We just wanted to ask him a couple of questions, and he screamed at us and kicked us out, just because Zanuck is a goblin. He's a racist.
I was using my Durox at pest control, and it needed to be repaired. So I took it to Bob in Lumbridge, and before I even knew it, he put his hands on my Duroc plate legs, and he started to pull them down.
I'm not supposed to talk about it. A lot of information we have hasn't been released to the public, but we are investigating the situation. And the thing that I can tell to the player community is that Bob is a professional scammer.
So there you have it. Don't go to Bob and Lumbridge. Okay, right here you'll see I have an altar to recharge prayer. Now this is not as important as the armor stand because you can just use a Ring of Dueling and go to Clan Wars to recharge all of your stats, but you can actually make an altar at 45 construction, so that's worth noting. Okay, the last room I'm going to talk about is the portal chamber. The portal chamber can be built at level 50 construction, and it allows you to create portals to quickly get to different places in RuneScape. The portal I really recommend you try and get is the one right here, teleports you to Great KOUREND. To unlock this portal, you need 69 magic, and you have to read the Transpiration Incantations book, which is found in the Arceus House Library. If you don't know what that is, I will put a link in the description of the video, but it's really nice to have, so you should look into it if you haven't already. Now, the reason for all of this is the Catacombs of KOUREND is an amazing place to train Slayer. If you just want to, chill, you cannot use a cannon in the Catacombs, and so, if you're wanting to use a cannon and get the most XP per hour, then this isn't a good option for you. And if you want a cannon, that's fine, go for it. I cannon too sometimes, but that's not really the point of this video. Now, here's the best part. You ready? In the Catacombs of KOUREND, prayer points are restored when you bury bones. Most monsters drop bones, meaning you have a source of unlimited prayer points. Now, if you have a bone crusher, which I'll talk about in just a second, it automatically buries bones and restores prayer points after each kill. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? Oh, but wait, you say. You have to complete the Mortania Hard Diary to obtain the Bone Crusher. Oh no, that's too much work. I don't have time for the diaries. Okay, listen. Just for you, I have made a Mortania Hard Diary guide. Now, it was my first video, so it's a little rough around the edges, but that's okay. All you have to do is get the skill and quest requirements for the diary, and then watch the video and simply follow it step by step. It's very simple. All you do is just follow along, and you get the diary done. You don't even have to think about it. And you'll have a Bone Crusher. Oh no, but wait! The Bone Crusher has to be charged with Ecto tokens, and that sounds annoying. Well, guess what? It's not. It's actually very easy to charge, and you get prayer experience while doing it. You know what? I will actually make a video showing how to quickly charge up the Bone Crusher, so you can look forward to that in the near future. Now, the portal chamber room, just like the altar, isn't required at all to train Slayer efficiently. But if you're getting 55 construction for the armor stand anyways, then you might as well build both of these because they just kind of help with your RuneScape quality of life. So I can't think of a reason not to get them. Okay, let's talk about gear and inventory setup. Then we'll be done with the video. So for this method, or whatever you want to call it, I use Guthans for 95% of my tasks, like I kind of mentioned earlier. And the reason for this is because Guthans heals you, so you don't have to worry about food or leaving to go get more when you run out. You can just simply equip your Guthans and heal up. And when you don't need healing, you can use your Slayer Helm and Whip/Defender and increase your XP per hour. Now you can also just equip your Guthans and go AFK for a bit if you want. This is pretty nice for training Slayer, and if you compare it to wearing full Proselyte using Protect from melee, it's kind of nice because you don't have to worry about your prayer points running out. As far as the rest of my gear, you probably know what it is, but the Berserker Renai is pretty cool. If you don't have this, you should definitely do some Nightmare Zone and get it imbued. Okay, real quick, there are a couple of tasks where you wear full Proselyte and you will be using Protect from melee, but that's really self-explanatory. Just don't let your prayer run out and you will be fine. One item that is really helpful to have when wearing Proselyte is the Holy Wrench, which is a reward for the completion of Rumdeal Quest. What it does when it's in your inventory is you regain additional prayer points when drinking a prayer or super restore potion. Pretty handy. One more thing I'll mention while here, it is also pretty helpful to have your bank somewhat organized. As you can see, I have all my teleport tabs and runes all together here. And then this other tab is my Slayer equipment and other gear, and then this tab is my potions. So having it somewhat organized definitely makes things easier on you in between tasks. Okay, inventory. If a task feels too hard, then you're probably going to want to bring super combat potions, because they will really help you get that extra oomph you need when doing some tasks. But for easier tasks like Fire Giants or Nuku, regular combat potions are just fine. Obviously do your own experimenting and see what works good for you. Now, I also bring a Saradome and Godsword, which in case you don't know, the special attack heals you and restores prayer points, so it's really nice to have, but it's sort of expensive, and I understand a lot of people don't want to throw down the cash and buy one, and that's understandable. But I will say, if you're wondering what you should save up for and buy to help with combat, the SGS is a really powerful item to prioritize. I don't even have Bandos Tassets or Chestplate or Armor Dial because I spent a lot of my cash on the SGS instead, and it has been well worth it. In the rest of my inventory, I bring the Bone Crusher, Herb Sack, and you don't need this either, but it's pretty nice to have, and it holds up to 420 herbs, which is pretty cool. Also, a rune pouch is handy, which you can basically buy now from the Grand Exchange if you want. And I use this with Lunars for the NPC contact spell. You can just keep all the runes for the spell in the pouch and contact Duradel for another assignment at the end of each task. This is really key for AFK and Slayer because at the end of a task, you don't even have to run to a Slayer Master. You just simply right-click the spell and get another task. Now, on some tasks like Greater Neckrails, you will notice I empty my pouch because they drop lots of different runes, and so I actually use the pouch to hold those runes because I'm banking a couple of times on that task anyways. Then you will see I have house tabs because that's how I travel back to the catacombs, and then a Royal Seed Pod for banking. Now, if you don't have the Royal Seed Pod, it's fine. It's actually probably better to bring a Ring of Dueling instead and bank using Clan Wars and then recharging your stats there as well if you need to. But I like the Seed Pod, and I often don't need to restore my stats, thanks mainly to the SGS. A couple of more things I'd like to mention. If you have a gem bag, that would be great to bring on most tasks too. I don't have one yet, but I probably should go get that soon. You get that from the Motherlode mine. Lastly, you'll notice that I reset aggro quite often in my vids. I do this because I like the monsters being aggressive towards me, so I don't have to pay as much attention and click each one. You reset the aggro by running any direction until you see the loading icon in the top left corner of the screen, and then just head back. Well, that's it for this video. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my Slayer videos as I release them. They are not going to be in depth at all, just quick 2 to 3 minute videos showing how I do each task. So that was the point of this video, to sort of go more in depth and give a little information on what's going on in those upcoming Slayer videos. Alright, see ya!